Ladies and gentlemen, as promised in the last edition of Dispatch, Mr. Justin Case joins us today to answer your model railroad questions. I'm Roy Smith. Welcome to this special edition of Dispatch, the variety show for model railroaders. A number of you have sent in model railroad questions for Justin Case, and he will be responding to your questions right here on the show. And if you thought your questions were crazy, just wait till you hear Justin's answers. And here he is now, Mr. Justin Case. Hello, Justin. I understand you are going to answer some questions that our viewers have sent in. Is that correct?
It sure enough is. I got the questions with me right now.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay, here's the first question. Mystic Southern Railway wrote in and he said, since I became a model railroader, I don't know how to handle all the chicks coming my way. Any suggestions? Well, my friend, thanks for that there question. I understand your predicament because I'm quite the ladies' man myself. Now, you're probably wondering, how could that be? Well, I'll tell you how that could be. It's all because of my good looks and my magnetic personality, but most of all, it's because I'm a model railroader. Them there women just go crazy when they meet up with a model railroader. So my advice to you is this. Don't tell a woman you're a model railroader. They're captivated by all your nonstop talking about your model trains. So don't even mention your trains or you'll never get rid of them. And something else too. In the model railroad community, men are always outnumbering women by about 100 to 1. So them women, they knows where to go if they's looking for men. Not to your bars and not to your discotheques neither. No siree, Bob. They knows to go to the train clubs and shows because that's where the men are all hanging out. So if you want to avoid women, just stay away from the train clubs and train shows. Now, the next two questions here are related, so I'm going to answer them both at the same time. Mark M&M Rails wrote, I'd like to ask Justin a question. How does he trim his mustache? That thing is always on point each time we see him. And about the same time, James Burba wrote in and he said, ask Justin where he got that mustache. At the Fuller Brush Company? The first thing you're probably wondering is, what's a mustache got to do with model railroading? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's got to do with it, and here it is. If you ain't got no mustache, then you ain't a real model railroader. You're just some kind of sissy pretending to be a model railroader. If you want to be a real model railroader, you got to get yourself a mustache. Now, how do you get a mustache on your face like the one I got? I'm going to tell you how, so you can get a mustache like me, so that you can be a real model railroader. Static grass. That's right, static grass. Just spread out some of that there white glue on your face and shake some static grass on it. You can even use green static grass if you want to. What's more, you can make yourself a beard out of static grass, and if you're bald, just lather up your head real good with that there white glue and pour the static grass right on your head. How do you think I got this here full head of hair? With static grass, that's how. And if you go and put a whole bunch of that there static grass on your head, you'll be a handsome model railroader just like me in no time at all. You'll be making them women crazy. And the model railroad clubs will all be wanting you to join them because you're such a good-looking model railroader. That's how you do it. It's just that simple. And the last question here comes from Randy Gates. Randy wrote, a question for Justin. What is the difference between a switch and a turnout? Well, I'll tell you, Randy, I don't got no idea what's the difference between a switch and a turnout. I don't know, maybe switch is how they say turnout in Spanish or something. Them there model railroaders over there in Europe or some such place, I hear tell they calls them switches, whilst us real model railroaders calls them turnouts. Well, what do them people over there know about model railroading anyways? We don't know what in Sam Hill they's talking about because they goes around all day and all night calling them switches. I hear tell that even real railroad engineers and conductors call them switches too, but what do they know about it anyways? Why, I even hear they calls them points over there in some of them there underdeveloped countries in Europe. It's enough to make you crazy, all that there gibberish. I don't know. It don't make no sense at all. I even heard them switches got frogs in them. Well, I don't want no frogs on my layout. Randy, just remember this. You get what you pays for in model railroading, so make sure you buys yourself real turnouts and not them there cheap switches. That's all. That's all the questions I got.
Well, Justin, thanks for sharing your knowledge about model railroading with us. Do come back soon. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you have a question for Justin, just put it in the comments section down below. Then hopefully Justin will answer it right here on Dispatch. Because after all, he's the world's foremost authority on model railroading, and we can learn a thing or two from him. You can be sure, no matter how nonsensical your question is, Justin will have an answer that makes even less sense than your question. Now then, thanks for joining Justin and me here on Dispatch. Be sure to go back to Dispatch 79 if you haven't seen it yet. In it, I share your layout photos, the question of the week, a big shout out, and a mail call. And in the comments section down below, let me know what you think of having the Just In Case segment of the show uploaded as a separate spin-off of the regular edition of Dispatch. I'm Roy Smith. Until next time, happy railroading.